Hello students, today let us revise Research Aptitude for UGC NET Paper 1. Methods of research. Research methods can be divided into three broad categories: quantitative research, qualitative research, and mixed research. Quantitative research is regarded as a systematic method of collecting numerical data, analyzing and interpreting the results using statistical tools for drawing conclusive results. This research starts from the theory and works on the testing of the hypothesis to validate or prove it right. Quantitative data is represented by tables, charts, graphs, and other numerical form. It makes easy to understand and arrange the data what has been collected as well as to prove the validity of the market research. Qualitative research. It is regarded as a social phenomena of exploring and understanding the perspectives of individual participants through open-ended questions, that is, to get their insight on their experiences and accordingly draw your inferences. It starts from observation, develops tentative hypotheses, and finally formulates the theory. The purpose is to develop hypotheses. Qualitative research represents the data in form of pictures, words, and results are judged through the theoretical judgment. Mixed research. This method is a comprehensive way of performing research processes as it comprises application of a combination of quantitative as well as qualitative methods in a particular research study for getting different perspectives in dealing with the phenomena. Often, either of qualitative or quantitative methods are not sufficient to answer the research problem. Therefore, mixed research approach is chosen, which can be considered as a hybrid or integration of qualitative and quantitative research methods and enhances the credibility and validity of the research work. Types of research. Research can be divided into 6 broad categories on the basis of result, on the basis of objectives, on the basis of rationale, on the basis of formation, on the basis of idea, and on the basis of nature. First, let us look at research on the basis of result or outcome or application. On the basis of result, research is of 3 types: fundamental research, applied research, and action research. Fundamental research is a type of research that focuses on discovering something new from the very scratch. Since this type of research starts from the very basic, therefore, it requires a lot of time and patience along with a good amount of knowledge to pursue this type of research. This research is pursued with mainly 2 objectives: for gaining knowledge, for invention or discovery of something new. This type of research is theoretical in nature as it can take shape in 2 ways: formulation of new theory or development of some existing theory. The results can be generalized, however, cannot be applied to any situation to get a solution. This research is inductive, extensive, and scientific in nature. Second is action research, also known as situational research. Action research follows a prescribed process cycle based on a particular situation, focusing to formulate immediate solutions to the existing local problems. It follows the predefined steps, that is, plan, act, observe, and reflect. Next comes applied research. Basic research can serve as the basis for applied research. Applied research is conducted for solving a specific practical problem in the society. Therefore, applied research is practical in nature and is applicable for specific problems and can provide immediate remedial from it. Also, it is limited in nature as it is catering to only one single type of problem. This research is intensive, deductive, and quantitative in nature. On the basis of objective, research is of 5 broad types. First is descriptive research. Descriptive research is a quantitative method which involves comprehensive description of the phenomena by providing accurate characteristics of a situation or a problem and a detailed factual information about the concerned subject. This research does not include any form of manipulation, rather it follows the approach report as it without any changes. Next is experimental research. Experimental research is regarded as a precise tool for demonstrating the actual cause and effect relationships between the variables. The only type of research which includes manipulation of variables for studying the cause-effect relationship. In experimental research, an independent variable is manipulated while other variables are kept constant. The effect of manipulation of independent variable is observed on the dependent variable. Next comes exploratory research. This is a formulative type of research which is conducted for understanding and gaining the insights of a complex or little known topic which has not been studied adequately in the past. The aim of this research is developing the hypothesis rather than testing it, and also to identify the problems which are to be actually answered. Exploratory research has no pre-planned design for analysis. Next comes explanatory research. This research explains the reason behind the occurring of the phenomena or event. It is also called causal research. No form of manipulation is done while performing explanatory research. It is qualitative in nature. Correlational research. It is applied when the researcher wants to investigate the level of relationship or the degree of association between two variables. It also showcases the direction of association between two variables, that is, whether these are positively or negatively correlated to each other. On the basis of rationale, there are two types of research: deductive research and inductive research. Deductive research is based on existing theory or observations, wherein this theory firstly is being tested by suitable data collection in a structured manner, and then the results are being analyzed. That depicts the actual result, and based on those results, the formulated theory is being accepted or rejected. It ensures that the reliable research findings result in significant contribution of the field of new knowledge. It follows top-down, that is, general to specific approach. Next comes inductive research. This approach is qualitative in nature. The aim of this approach is to collect and analyze the data for formulating new theories and ideas. The researcher starts with the collection of a new set of observations. Based on those observations, he then identifies the pattern in these observations and thus makes a generalization about the phenomena. It follows bottom-up approach, that is, particular to general approach. On the basis of formation inquiry, there are two types of research: structured research and unstructured research. Structured research follows a set of predefined protocols and rules, gathering the data and evaluate them systematically in a highly standardized format. It inquires the data quantitatively, which can be further easily be analyzed by the researcher, and thus conclusive results could be drawn from them. Unstructured research. This research is flexible in nature, as its objective is to explore and identify the unknown aspects of the problem. The investigation process is not predetermined, rather quite dynamic, as it solely varies from one participant to another participant. This form of inquiry is beneficial when very little or not much is known about a topic or a problem. However, it cannot be quantified numerically. On the basis of idea or concept, there are two types of research: conceptual research and empirical research. Conceptual research aims at exploring and examining abstract ideas to know the underlying assumptions and rationale behind and further introduce new concepts and phenomena. It involves higher levels of critical thinking and good analytical skills, and generally applicable in the various fields, namely philosophy, sociology, and psychology. Empirical research is a quantitative research approach which involves the use of extensive data collection, analyzing it to test the frame theory or hypothesis through the statistical tools, and also based on the researcher's experience and direct or indirect observations during the process. This research is objective in nature, as it is based on the verifiable evidences. On the basis of nature, there are three types of research: ex post facto research, historical research, and analytical research. Ex post facto research is also known as retrospective research. In this kind of research, the researcher examines the relationship between the variables and anticipates the cause behind the event which had occurred in past. In analytical research, the researcher uses his logic and reasoning in performing in-depth study through critical thinking and evaluation of the problem with the help of readily available information or data. It aims to understand the issues and upon examine it from various angles for getting the appropriate solutions. A variable is a factor or element that can be controlled, altered, or measured. Variables can be studied under the following heads: independent variable, dependent variable, discrete variable, continuous variable, random variable, discrete random variable, continuous random variable, qualitative variable, and quantitative variable. A variable is a factor or element that can be controlled, altered, or measured. The value of a variable can change between groups or over time. A variable is something which varies and can have more than one value. An independent variable is a variable that is manipulated, imposed by the researcher in experimental research to measure the effect of the manipulation or on another variable. The variable which causes effect on dependent variable. It is also called predictor or explanatory variable. A dependent variable is the outcome variable measured in each subject which may be influenced by manipulation of the independent variable. A discrete variable is a variable whose value is obtained by counting. Example: number of apples in a basket, students' class level, number of states in a country, etc. A continuous variable is a variable whose value is obtained by measuring, for example, weight of participants, height of participants, etc. A random variable denoted with a capital letter is a variable whose value is a numerical outcome of a random phenomenon. A variable, that is, a quantity taking different values on different occasions, is the result of an experiment. A discrete random variable is a random variable whose range consists of a finite or countable number of possible values. The entire set of possible values that a random variable x can take is called the range of x. A continuous random variable is a random variable which can take infinite number of values. The probability distribution of a random variable tells what the possible values of A are and how probabilities are assigned to those values. A quantitative variable is that which can be naturally measured on a numeric or quantitative scale. As a number, example, height, age, crop yield, GPA, salary, temperature, area, etc. A qualitative variable is that which cannot be expressed numerically. It describes data that may be depicted in categories. Example, the category of states of India will have the qualitative variables Haryana, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Bihar, etc. The category of colors will include the qualitative variables red, blue, green, yellow, etc. Similarly, the social constructs habit, behavior, attitude are qualitative variables inexpressible in numbers. A confounding extraneous variable is that extraneous variable that ruins an experiment by distorting results. It influences both the dependent variable and independent variable, It may increase variance, suggest a correlation when there is none, or may introduce a false bias. It acts like a hidden independent variable, casting a hidden effect on the independent variable. A sampling frame constitutes a list of the items or people forming the population of interest from which a sample is taken. It is a list of all those within the population who can be sampled and may include individuals, households, or institutions. Now let us look at different sample techniques or methods. First is non-probability sampling. It does not give all the individuals in the population equal chance of being selected. Some techniques of non-probability sampling are as follows. Convenience sampling. It refers to selecting samples that are accessible to the researcher or easy to collect. Consecutive sampling. Selecting all accessible subjects, making the sample a better representation of the entire population. Judgmental sampling or purposive sampling is selecting with the belief that some subjects are more suitable than other individuals for the purpose. Snowball sampling is selecting a subject who is asked to identify another potential subject meeting the research criteria. Quota sampling is selecting sample that ensures equal or proportionate representation of subjects per trait considered as basis of quota for a given sample size. Dimensional sampling is when the researcher takes into account several characteristics, for example, gender, income, residence, and education, and ensures that there is at least one person in the study representing each of the chosen characteristics. Next is probability sampling. Probability sampling, on the other hand, utilizes some form of random selection method that ensures that the different units of the population have equal probabilities of being chosen. The methods of probability sampling are simple random sampling. It refers to drawing a name out of a lot or using computers for generating random numbers. Stratified random sampling. It refers to randomly selecting from smaller groups, divisions of larger population that usually don't overlap but represent the entire population together. Cluster random sampling. It refers to randomly selecting participants from select areas when they are geographically spread out. Next is systematic sampling. It refers to randomly selecting every nth individual to be a part of the sample according to a random starting point and a fixed periodic interval. Plagiarism is the act of presenting someone else's work or ideas as one's own without proper attribution. With the increasing ease of access to information on the internet, the temptation to copy and paste has grown, leading to a surge in plagiarism cases. However, not all plagiarism is the same. It comes in various forms with varying degrees of severity. Let us look at different types of plagiarism. Direct plagiarism. It is often considered the most serious form and it involves copying and pasting word for word from a source without any quotation marks or proper citation. The blatant theft of intellectual property is not only dishonest but also undermines the original author's efforts. Whether it's a single sentence or an entire paragraph, reproducing content without acknowledging the resource constitutes direct plagiarism. In academia, direct plagiarism can lead to severe penalties such as failing grades, academic probation, or even expulsion. In professional settings, it can result in damaged reputations, legal action, and job termination. Next is self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism occurs when an individual republishes their previously submitted work or portions of it without appropriate citation. While it might seem harmless to reuse one's own content, especially in different contexts, it is still a form of dishonesty as it fails to credit the initial creation. In academia, self-plagiarism can lead to rejected papers or loss of academic integrity. In professional settings, it can damage credibility and result in legal issues, especially if copyright infringement is involved. Next is paraphrasing plagiarism. Paraphrasing plagiarism involves rephrasing someone else's ideas or content without using quotation marks and proper citation. Despite not using the same words, this form of plagiarism still borrows heavily from the original resource without giving due credit. The consequences of paraphrasing plagiarism can be educational institutions and professional organizations treat paraphrasing plagiarism as seriously as direct plagiarism, with penalties ranging from failing grades to legal action. Mosaic plagiarism, also known as patch writing, it occurs when a writer copies phrases or sentences from various resources, altering a few words here and there, while maintaining the overall structure and meaning. This technique attempts to disguise the plagiarism but is still considered unethical. While the severity of the penalties for mosaic plagiarism may vary, it is generally treated as a serious offense in academia and professional circles. Then comes accidental plagiarism. Accidental plagiarism, as the name suggests, happens unintentionally when a writer fails to properly attribute a source due to carelessness or lack of knowledge about citation guidelines. It can occur when a writer overlooks adding quotation marks or neglects to provide a citation. The consequences can be, although accidental plagiarism might not carry the same level of intent as other forms, it can still lead to academic consequences, especially if the writer demonstrates a pattern of negligence. Understanding the different types of plagiarism is essential for students, academics, and professionals alike. By recognizing the various shades of plagiarism, individuals can uphold academic integrity, protect their professional reputations, and foster an environment of honesty and respect for intellectual property. To avoid the severe consequences associated with plagiarism, proper citation and diligent research practices should be adopted as a standard approach to acknowledging the work of others while contributing to the collective body of knowledge responsibly. That's it for today. We wish you all the very best for the upcoming exam.